thank you all very much for coming tonight. We're really excited to introduce the upper school to you if you don't know it already. I think we have a nice mix of all grades of Dawson Middle School here, as well as some visitors from outside Dawson. And we're really thrilled to have you all here. We have tried to put together a night that focuses mostly on the students who really know the most about what it's like to be in the upper school here. We're going to start the evening with a quick presentation by some of the key members of the upper school faculty, just to kind of give you the lay of the land as we go here. I'm Ann Hecox. I'm the director of the upper school. This is my 23rd year here. I started as a English teacher and then became academic dean. All three of my kids have graduated. My last one is in this picture from last year's graduation. So they've been through the whole game. This is Arnie Lewis, who is our Dean of Students. He's in charge of student life and town council and clubs and that kind of thing, and teaches Spanish with us. Sarah Morissette is our college counseling director. She's new here this year, and she's taken the whole place by storm, and wow, I can't even tell you how many people. Jose Lopez is our academic dean. He teaches Spanish as well. And then we've got Mike Jacobson as the upper school director. Stephanie Carpenter is one of the learning specialists in the upper school, and we're missing Erin Romano tonight. She had another obligation, she couldn't be here. The other person who isn't here, and Arnie will speak on her behalf, is Maddie Shearer, who's our director of experiential education. I'm gonna just kick it off really quickly and tell you that we love the upper school. We're really excited about it. And we hope all your kids come to upper school here with us. When I think about what really makes the upper school outstanding, I think of top-notch academics. I think of an experiential education program that draws students outside of the classroom out into the world to interact with the nature in Colorado, cultures and people they wouldn't normally see, have experiences that normally you wouldn't have in high school. That just gives them a leg up when they get out into the rest of the world and into college. I would say another piece of that is our amazing college counseling program. It's basically like having your own private college counselor all wrapped into your tuition here. And I don't think you can get a college counseling program anything like it anywhere close to here. Sarah will talk a little bit about that. But I think the thing that is really the most important thing about a Dawson upper school education is the relationships that students form with faculty that enable students to really grow to the potential that they have. Teachers know our students well enough to know where this one needs a little bit of help, where this one needs a lot more challenge. We know them well enough to look and say, oh, are you okay today? And check in and make sure they are okay today. And I will tell you one of the things that I love most about having been here for this long is that I still have students who graduated 10, 15 years ago calling me up, asking if they can come over to dinner because they just miss being here. Last year alone, I interviewed 5 different alums who wanted to come and work here because they wanted to give back to a place that was really such an important place for them. And I think that really says a lot about who we are. So that's my brief overview. I'm going to turn it over now to the people who have their particular areas here at Dawson. I think we're starting with academics with Mr. Lopez.
Good evening, everyone. As Dr. Hecox said, my name is Jose Lopez. I'm the academic dean here, and I just want to give you a quick overview of the academic program that we offer here at Dawson. So at Dawson, we strive to offer a world-class education founded on, as Dr. Hecox mentioned, a strong relationship between our students and our faculty. We strive to offer a relevant curriculum that allows students to pursue their passions, challenge themselves, take risks, and try new things. As you can see from the slide behind me, we are an AP school. Currently, we offer 15 different AP courses throughout our curriculum. These courses allow students to do college-level work while also being able to focus on the areas about which they are most passionate. This permits us to challenge our students while at the same time keep them from being burnt out, keep them engaged, keep them focused. Next slide. To complement our AP curriculum, we also offer some unique courses that you may not find at your typical school. On the slide behind me are just a couple of them. I just want to highlight a couple real fast. Courses like wearables. This is a class where students learn how to integrate technology with clothing, bags, shoes. If I'm not mistaken, we've had a couple of students produce their outfit for prom in this class. Another class that's really interesting, statistical reasoning in sports. It allows students to learn about statistics, analyzing data, posing questions, all through the lens of sports, which for some students is very exciting. Applied ethics, kind of looks at those big questions of morality that we often ask ourselves in everyday life. Journalism Today is a great course where students get to change the world by producing, interviewing, writing articles, while at the same time examining media in our current society. Next slide. That's it. Our students, we hope to graduate students who in the end are unique individuals, not students who've all taken the same courses. We strive to make sure that our students graduate and leave Dawson not just ready to tackle the challenges of college, but also to have the tools needed to know how to advocate for themselves, get the help they need when they need it, and follow their dreams. Succeed in life in any way they see success as being for them. So that's kind of academics for us.
Thanks, Mr. Lopez. Arnie Lewis, Dean of Students, and I've been asked to talk a little bit about our experiential education program. This is my 22nd here at Dawson. I've done the senior backpacking trip 11 times and the junior canoe trip 11 times. And when I think about the why, like why is it that we take our kids on these trips? Years ago, I was doing a professional development, experiential education. And this keynote speaker, he had this message, and I've never forgot it. It's a quick story. And he said, maybe some of you are familiar with the New York State region exams. Is anyone from New York? Okay, in New York State, similar to maybe standardized testing anywhere you go, they do required state testing at the end of every year. And they were analyzing data, and they were looking at kids who studied in classrooms throughout the year with windows compared to kids who were in interior classrooms. And a lot of schools around the area, I mean, we've got the most beautiful facilities all over, and we got beautiful windows in all our classrooms. But they were able to run enough statistical data, and it proved there was a 10% better likelihood to succeed on these exams if you were in a classroom with windows. And this keynote speaker for experiential education said, so if we're so convinced that windows are good for kids, what if we take them outside? And for me, year after year, when we start our trips, start our school year, taking the kids outside and getting them to be in different friend groups and to be in the most unbelievable spaces, I'm reminded year in and year out the why. And it's one of my favorite parts of Dawson. Forget about the winters and the great trips we do in the springtime, but the fact that we start every year in small groups, really get to know these kids and build relationships. That's my favorite part. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Jacobson. I'm the athletic director. I've been here 11 years, and I'm a Dawson parent, just like Arnie Lewis is, Jose Lopez. My daughter's a sophomore, and my son's a sixth grader, so I've been here 11 years, and I've experienced everything that your child has gone through. But the co-curriculars, up there we have, if you can see around the chairs, we have 19 options. That's in addition to all the clubs and the town council and peer leaders and all the things that we offer here at Dawson. The biggest thing I like to talk to families about is opportunities, okay? Your child can pick 1, 2, 3, multiple things, and they get to do all of them. That's the great thing about Dawson. You know right now going into your high school year that your son or daughter can participate and have a lot of options. It's really important, I think, when we start fall sports. Mr. Lewis talked about the trips that we do in August. Well, in fall sports, we start around August 2, 3, 4. They're already making friends with juniors and seniors and upperclassmen. And those people are leaders and mentors for our young freshmen and sophomores. And it's really important for them to know that they can compete at a varsity level right away. That's the advantage of a small school that we have. 230 plus students in the high school. It's a great opportunity to participate in a lot of things. I'd like to talk about the pictures that we have up here. Those of us that have been here for a while, we can name every kid, every fan that's behind that group. That's really special. The other schools in the area, it's a numbers game. People are just hoping to know kids' first names. We know your family. We know when grandparents come into town. We know when families want to come watch, a Saturday afternoon ball game or whatever it is. So it's really important to develop that relationship. And when you hear these students, and Maggie alum, welcome back, it's pretty special to hear what they've experienced at Dawson. I mean, your son or daughter, it's their journey. What are they going to accomplish? And it's theirs alone. It would be great if we could get everyone to stick together and do some things together. It's pretty special. So definitely after this night, I'd love to visit with some of you, specifically about your child, what they're interested in, and we can talk a lot more about athletics and co-curriculars. So thank you guys for being here.
Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie Carpenter, and as Ann said earlier, I'm the Upper School Learning Specialist. I'm here representing the student support team. The student support team consists of Mr. Lopez, Dr. Boyer, and Ms. Romano. Ms. Romano is our full-time counselor. And we sort of work together to make sure our students and faculty feel supported. My role on the student support team is that I am the accommodations coordinator. Many times students come from the middle school to the high school, haven't really touched their accommodation plan too much, but as classes start getting harder, we start looking at standardized testing. We want to make sure students are set up for success. And so I work with Ms. Morissette, making sure students can get their accommodations for AP exams, for the College Board, and for the ACT as well. We also look at schools that our students are going to and what accommodations are available for students at those schools, and how can we tailor those back to make sure when our students get to the college campus that they're going to be successful. And so we have sort of these two pictures over here. This is our quiet testing room right here for students who want to test in a separate space, because oftentimes that can be really helpful for a lot of students. And for our students to be able to use that space, we have them sign up similar to how they would at college, so that then when they get to the college campus, they feel success and they can reach out to their teachers and they can sort of implement their accommodations, because that's what we want our students to be able to do. They want them to empower our students to make sure that when they leave, they feel really good. And so as a student support team, we work together. We also are in charge of our peer tutor organization, where if students during the day need help, we have resources available to students. We want students to be able to ask questions, and so they can go reach out to any other students available during that time. If you have any questions about accommodations, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to sort of chat with how they work in the upper school, and good pass it on.
Good evening. Thank you guys so much for coming. It's so nice to see some familiar faces from the Q&A that I had with some middle school families. My name is Sarah Morissette, and I'm the Director of College Counseling. This is a very easy presentation for me because nobody does it better than we do, period. I am one of 2 college counselors. We have 58 seniors this year, so I am working with 38 students. Our ratio is about 1 to 30. And that is the maximum amount of students that I'm working with. We have a junior curriculum, so spring semester of junior year, your students, whether they like it or not, will spend an hour and a half every week with myself, and then again in the fall semester of their senior year. Some of the schools in our area, their model is 1 counselor to approximately 200, 300 students, and that's their everything counselor. I moved here from the East Coast, and that was my former role, right? Social, emotional, academic, college, it was all me. Here, we split those resources between all of these wonderful people, but specifically, myself in college counseling, and then Ms. Romano, who is our counselor for all students. So just a little information, but I think it is, as Dr. Heacock said, it is one-on-one counseling. And I will say, in my over 15 years in college admissions, I have never read better college recommendations than I've read from Dawson. And it's because of that personal connection. It's because the teachers and the dean and the director of any department knows the student in so many different facets. And also, these teachers are being asked to write 6 letters of recommendation per year, not 45, not 68. So it's that one-on-one attention that we can offer our students and really supporting them all along. I've been meeting with freshmen, sophomores, so I welcome you and your family into our space. We just redid it. It's fabulous. Come hang out. And just get to know us. We don't want it to be intimidating. We don't want it to be overwhelming. We're here to help and engage every student and family through the process.
All right. So that was the adult part of the presentation. We're going to switch over to the kids now. Kind of a blitz overview of what the upper school is like. Students, if you want to come up and sit down, I'll introduce you quickly. Jose, would you mind switching over to the other presentation? It's on the same tab. All right. Thank you very much for being here today. We've got representatives from every grade and an alum, which we're super excited about. Bella Stewart is our 9th grader. We've got Chase, where's Chase? There he is. Chase Roski is 10th grade. Jake Levy is 11th grade. And Shanti Harrison is 12th grade. And Maggie Clow is Dawson class of 2019. So she can tell you all about how it looks after you leave Dawson, what skills you have, and how you're ready for college. I'm going to pass, oh, you have a mic. Very good. I'm going to put a mic over here too. And just go for it, whatever questions you have. I know somebody has one. What? Oh, yeah, you were going to do that. We were going to do that, weren't we? Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about what your favorite thing is, how long you've been here? Let's just do the rounds. Let's start with you.
Okay, well, as you know, I'm Bella Stewart. I'm a 9th grader. I've been here, this is my 4th year at Dawson. And one of my favorite things about being a 9th grader is the transition from 8th grade to 9th grade is very easy because there's a lot of built-in time for you to get adjusted and to do work in school instead of outside of school. So even if you because I know a lot of students have extracurriculars outside of school, and there's a lot of time for you to be able to work that into your schedule because you get your work done when you're at school instead of needing to go home and waste time on that.
I'm Jake Levy. I am a junior here, and I actually transferred here to sophomore year. So I was at a public school freshman year, and the transition was actually so easy for me. The school handled it so well. My academics was really easy, and also I almost found myself doing too much because I wanted to do so much here. I wound up doing speech and debate, the musical. I did swimming outside of it. Dawson was great about me being able to swim for a different school because they don't offer one here. And I also did club swim, and it was just amazing both academically and also extracurricularly. Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Shanti Harrison. I'm a senior and this is my 8th year at Dawson. And I would say that my favorite part of Dawson is probably the ability to explore within the arts department. We offer, I think it's 16 different arts electives, and that ranges from, musical ensembles to ceramics, black and white photography, so many different arts classes that I know that if I was at a different school I wouldn't be able to take, and I probably wouldn't have the courage to take. For example, I took jewelry making my sophomore year, and I never thought that I would take the class, but I ended up loving it, and now that creativity is one of my favorite parts of Dawson.
My name is Chase Roski. I'm a sophomore here at Dawson. This is my 2nd year, so I came freshman year. I would say my favorite part of being here is probably the ability to push yourself and challenge yourself in a manageable way. So I really like sciences, so I take double the sciences. And then I have the option to take APs, electives, like we said, food chem, forensics, and just really be able to do as much as I want and still have that ability to talk to my advisor if I'm struggling with something, really get that one-on-one connection whenever I need and push myself.
My name is Maggie. I graduated from here in 2019. I was here just for high school, so I was here for 4 years. I just graduated from Notre Dame in the in the spring. So I graduated in May, and I've been back here since. I would say my favorite part of here, I had the benefit of hindsight a little bit, was probably the fact that my transition to college was really easy. I was really lucky that the things I could control my freshman year made the transition really easy. I would also echo that I really got to do kind of what I wanted. We talked a lot about the relationships you build. I was competitive in a sport that Dawson didn't offer, and so my ability to really be able to do that my last 2 years here was awesome because my teachers knew that I was going to be on time with my work and good with everything, but it also meant that I got to travel and do what I wanted with my sport, which was awesome as well. So it really allowed me to do what I wanted and then set up for an awesome 4 years in college. So.
All right. Now does anybody have questions?
Yeah, I guess I can start. I think one of the things that I missed, but also was really good sort of learning, was really that relationship piece. I had to sort of give a similar thing to people in college, and they asked sort of what is one thing you would take away, and I said one of the things that I did really well was reach out and advocate for myself while I was in school. And I think that's one of the things that I learned here. And so I was able to build a lot of close relationships, like I said, with faculty. And so that was one of the things I missed, but also one of the things that I got to sort of roll forward, which helped a lot.
Yeah, I can also go off of that. I would also say relationships with faculty. Faculty are there for you. They want to help you in whatever way possible. And I think that's the main thing that I would miss leaving Dawson. But additionally, I would probably also miss the opportunity to get involved in whatever you want to get involved in, like whether that's town council, speech and debate, trying a new club, starting a club, whatever you want to do, you can do it all, and I think that's really special about Dawson.
I also am really gonna miss the food here. I really like it. They offer like such a wide variety of what you can eat. There's always a different hot lunch. Also, they offer like a sandwich bar where you can panini press it. They always have a salad bar, fruit. It just has everything. It's really great. Yeah.
I think one of the things that I'm definitely gonna miss the most is the arts department, because I know we've gone over how many choices you have and how easy it is to like get into things, but that doesn't show how amazing it is, because in any going down the hill and having an entire building for just like creativity and like these amazing extracurriculars where you can like try whatever you want to see if you want to get into it or something, that's amazing to me.
I will miss just like my teachers. I like them a lot. I've had times where I just have a conversation with my advisor, Dr. Denton, all the way through lunch, just talking about school, life, that type of thing. I took Mr. Lopez's class last year, and I just really enjoyed being there every day and seeing them.
Yeah, I guess I can start. So I would say one of the things that really helped was how early we started talking about it. My sort of first recollection of talking about it was somebody who came and presented my freshman year, and then my sophomore year, it sort of got up another level, and then obviously fall semester of junior year and the spring semester of junior year, it kind of ratcheted up again more like that. One of the things I think that talking about it early led me to do personally was able to do some of the like pre-college programs that a lot of different universities offer. And honestly, that was instrumental for me in picking where I went to school. I was able to do two, one between my sophomore and junior year, and then one between my junior and senior year of high school. And that last one, because I knew about it and kind of knew where I was looking and able to narrow down programs that way, really helped me then decide where I wanted to be for my 4 years. And I think that early lead time was really helpful. The other thing I think is just the one-on-one time to really drill on your essay. I think that's one of the most important things that colleges look at, and the ability to really dig into the nitty-gritty and have the time to say, really go line by line, which sounds crazy, but that's what I was able to do with my college counselor, and talking to a lot of my friends in college. That was one of the things that they struggled with the most, was that they either had to seek outside help or their parents, which became a stressful situation, or something else. So having that time in school to get that done and knock it out made the process really simple, because like I said, we, everything from the Common App, you kind of knew what you were getting into well before the Common App opened, and just those things in that prep time made what is a stressful process slightly easier.
I would just like to add that, yeah, in addition to the college counseling classes, we also have the one-on-one individual college counseling. And I finished applying to schools last week. And so the last month I was in college counseling offices probably 1.5 hours to 3 hours every single week. And the college counselors took that time out of their day to look over essays, to explain what's going to happen, and having that was very helpful.
Okay, one of the great things of having like a very small like yearly class size is you practically know everybody. So if you need help with anything, but you don't have like any friends in that class, you can go to anybody because they know you and you know them. And just like the relationship with that is in every class, I'm okay with it, even if like I'm struggling in that class because I know I have someone right here who can help me.
Yeah, and I actually have good news for you. It's actually like I don't have any class that's over 20 kids, really. So it's like really, it's a lot like a seminar, which I really appreciate. It's not always gonna be a lecture where you're just memorizing facts. You get to really talk with your teacher about it and really get to question why things were like, I'm finding in A-Push this year, instead of just drilling at every fact, I'm talking about the cause and effect of each event. Like, why did this happen? What were people thinking at this moment? Which I think just like is developing my learning so much further.
Yeah, I can echo that a little bit too. I think in college, we joked a little bit. I went to Notre Dame, which is a liberal arts college, so we had a lot of sort of seminar-based classes, or if it was a lecture, then you had an additional class that was a much smaller group, and we sort of joked that you needed to sort of participate, and there was a participation award for doing that and showing up and whatever. And the preparation that I had, the ability to feel confident speaking in front of people and speaking up in front of class, and knowing that even if my answer was wrong, that's okay, because that meant that I was going to learn something in a college environment where it's a little bit more high stress and there's a little bit of a risk reward there. Coming out of a small environment here really helped with that, because then it wasn't a shocking turn of events when I got there. So.
And also, just for reference, one of my absolute favorite class that I have this year only has 6 people in it. Pre-modern world history is one of my favorites, and because we can just like, the individuality of the classes is really like astonishing, because everyone can just keep asking until they're like okay with the answer, because we have that time with the teacher, and it just gives a lot of time for gaining knowledge, because you have enough time instead of like a class of like 26 people. You're like, oh, that's a lot of people. We have to just breeze the work because we only have this set amount of time to do it.
I would probably say just the workload in general, especially when you get into junior and senior year. If you want to take a lot of APs, that does add to your workload and the time you spend on work. But I do think the middle school prepares you for that, but there is still that jump, I would say. But it is nice to be able to challenge yourself in that way.
Another thing is the difference between like middle school and high school that I think of is high school, because you're like older now, you have a lot more options for things. So as opposed to like 10 different options for winter and last year in 8th grade, now we have like 26, and it's probably because it's like a bigger class size, but there's just a lot more flexibility in like choice.
Sure, I can start with this. So the electives are built into your class schedule. I mean, obviously you have your sort of core things that you need to get out of the way, and then once you're sort of in line with that, you can take, so they're built into your day. It's not like you have like a specific day that electives are there. So whether it's in your, whatever day your block schedule happens to hold that class, it functions like any other. So it just depends on how you manage your class load through your 4 years and sort of where you're at with APs and things like that.
But for club time, or at least in 9th grade, we have them every Wednesday. So we have like it's like built into your schedule. So you have it every Wednesday at this time, and then you have like a class, and then you have a meeting. So it's just a very fluid thing, and it's very easy to like understand your electives, and like it's just built in like a normal class. So you just go to your electives.
I will emphasize that clubs and electives are different things. So electives are classes that are built into the schedule. I spend the same amount of time in my elective as I do in my chemistry class, whereas clubs are Wednesday afternoon, just kind of a chill group to do something you're interested in.
The time frame is slightly later because we have more classes and more periods, but it's practically the same thing. So if you're like transitioning or you're just gonna get into it, like I said, there's a lot of ease time, so you're gonna get it pretty quickly. And yeah, so just like an everyday thing.
So at the end of the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's in the afternoon.
That's one of the main changes if you're at the middle school is your co-curriculars will be after school. So mine is 3:30 to whatever time it ends. It's not built into the day. Yeah.
Yeah, they're usually 3:30 to 5:30 or 3:45 to 5:45, and you have a certain amount of required co-curriculars. So you'll generally have a season where you're doing a sport or doing a musical or something like that, and then you'll have an off season, which you have a little bit more time in the evenings.
Speech and debate is a club, correct? Both a club and a co-curricular. So that's one of our.
It's more of a
bigger ones.
co-curricular.
I would say the speech and debate is like the only very like interesting one because there's a speech and debate club and then there's speech and debate co-curricular, but the co-curricular is more of a prominent speech and debate thing. So you would actually like go to competitions more and have more like practice time and stuff like that. But it's a little different. I would say if a student is interested in getting to speech and debate, join the club first to see if you like it and then join co-curricular. But for like some clubs that we have, it's actually pretty cool because like if you have any idea for a club, you can make that. So it's fluid throughout the years because like new students will come in and make things, students will go that make things, and people will continue them. But like some of the ones we have now are like business club, chess club, eco club, bee club, so stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm actually part of No Place for Hate, and that's really just working towards making a more just like collective community at Dawson. And basically there's just like a lot of projects towards inclusivity, and we're really just trying to get Dawson as just like more unified. Like it's already obviously very unified, it's just like keep progressing forward as a school.
Yeah, I would say sort of the main difference is like the students have said what takes place during the day versus after, and the fact that I think we mentioned this, there is sort of a sports or co-curricular credit that needs to take place and you need to fulfill throughout the years. I did it a little differently. I had a waiver because my sport wasn't offered here, but it was awesome to have that ability to participate and have that count as well. So
Well, I'm actually coming at this having gone to public school my freshman year. It really just moving into private school in this like close, smaller community, it just alleviates so much social pressure in general. There's just, because of also these extracurriculars that you are required to take, you're also forced to be in these other social groups that really just makes you get exposed to more people you wouldn't necessarily be friends with at a public school because it's so big, because they don't have these kind of requirements that really pushes you to get to know all the students in your grade and also in your high school. And also it was like really daunting for me going into sophomore year, not knowing anyone who goes to school really, other than a few kids. And the school trip at the beginning of the year is so effective towards not only getting to know the Dawson community, but specifically the kids within it, not just the students, or not, not just like the teachers, where you're really put into these small groups and you're getting these fun experiences with them, where it basically just ties you closer at the very beginning. So once you are actually going to like school for the academics, you have already developed these good friendships.
Yeah, I want to agree. In terms of the trips, winter week, that's my favorite week of the year. It's just awesome to be able to spend all day working on something that you got to choose pretty much. So like last year I took CNC guitar making in the Innovation Center, where we would build electric guitars. And just like being in there with 10, 12 of my classmates working on a project like that, I got to know them all so well, and it was so fun. Yeah, it's great.
And to speak a bit more on like social traditions, Dawson, one of the things I love about Dawson is like we're kind of big on celebrating things. So we would for like Halloween, we had like tug of war competitions between the grades, or like the Dizzy Izzy where we put like pumpkin heads on people and they have to do this like little obstacle course thing. So it's really fun, and like we said, there's a lot of opportunities to get to know people, not just in your grade or not just the teachers, like all throughout the school. Like one of my favorite leadership positions that I was surprised to see how amazing it is town council, which me and Shanti are a part of. It's basically like a student council for Dawson, but you'll be surprised of like how involved students are in like Dawson life. So we would like build the meetings that we have as an upper school, or we would like manage the dances or the proms. So it's really involved, and there's a lot of like opportunity for leaderships and opinions and like questions of like what you think is important.
I'll just add on to that and say I think one of the things that is helpful is because you start talking about college so early, you have a lot of help in crafting that story, whatever that looks like for each individual student. And leadership can mean many different things. They talked about town council, there's peer leaders, like it can mean something in a very traditional sense, but then there's also, you know, being a part of a club or, you know, doing something on your co-curricular team or your sports team or whatever. And that story you can kind of knit together through 4 years because it's sort of a constant conversation you're having as a community rather than saving that conversation until much later. Because I'll be quite honest and say, you know, there's something to be said for the fact that college admissions can kind of tell when you're doing something because you're passionate about it and you're doing something because you enjoy it. So there's sort of some longevity there versus saying, hey, I need something to sort of pad my resume or pad my college application, which comes from just, again, the fact that we have that forethought so early on.
Yeah, I also want to speak. So there's lots of things you can get involved with. So like I'm on the conduct committee. There's peer tutoring coordinators. You can start a club if you want, or like another thing I noticed being here is like Mr. Lewis will occasionally send out an email that just has like, here's a leadership opportunity if you want to apply to it. So that's one thing that I really noticed stood out to me is like, you have a lot more access to those things, and if you want to take those opportunities, they're there for you.
One other thing I want to add is that we have a program called the Wolf Scholarship, which basically, if you get the Wolf Scholarship, you're awarded up to $4,000 to initiate whatever change you want to make in your community. So Dawson allows you to get involved in leadership positions beyond just the school, and you can impact the broader community as well.
And kind of talk about what Chase was saying, where Mr. Lewis will just send out opportunities. I'm actually going on the Student Diversity Leadership Conference this November, and me and 5 other students are just going to be flying to St. Louis to a conference for a couple days, and it's going to be a great opportunity that I wouldn't have gotten just like from like my public school.
So before the school year, like before school officially starts, we have like a few weeks where people like go to practice at a point in the day, and they just they practice for a bit, but then there's like tryouts. So you just like go through drills and stuff, do like workouts, and then since it's a very small group, it's very easy to like notice if a student's like very good, if like it's very good to place a student and build relationships with coaches. So there's like a tryout period, and then you find out what team you're on, and you practice as like a program. And I'm not sure if it's like a little different for tennis, like specifically, but our tennis teams at Dawson, I know, are really great. But this is coming from a volleyballer, so.
Yeah, and also like I swim, and that's not offered at Dawson, but it's so easy for me to get to my practices, to get to meets. Dawson's just so good at accommodating like anything you really need, especially when it comes to extracurriculars.
I also want to add that all of our teams are no cut. So if your student wants to play any sort of sport, they will be on that team. No matter if they've played for 10 years, they've never, picked up a soccer ball in their life, they will be on the team. And that's where those different kind of levels come in. Some sports only have JV or only varsity, but generally most of the sports have JV, varsity, and that sort of thing. And so it's really easy to get involved in those sports.
Yeah, we do have, I'm not 100% sure in our honors. Generally, it's AP works at the kind of the advanced level. Definitely in math, there's honors and regular for all the levels up to calculus. Calculus becomes AP, though we're talking about offering a non-AP. But usually the kind of like AP is for those people that want to push it farther. So like biology is a required freshman course, but then if you're a junior or senior and you really like science, you can take AP Bio and act at that as your advanced course. And if you
So you're
want to
taking bio and then later you're taking AP Biostat, for example.
Yeah,
Or your site.
or chem or physics or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and also a really great thing is Dawson's really good about offering free blocks. So if you're doing a more vigorous AP schedule, you also have those free blocks where you can work on it inside of school time if you're obviously very committed to other things outside of school, which it's been so helpful for me personally, especially like I didn't have any free blocks my freshman year, and I think I had 4 electives each semester, and it just created such a stressful environment for me having to get everything done outside of school. Because you can also like really collaborate with students inside of school that way. I'm taking 4 APs, but I am in my junior year. I think it depends, obviously, like each year I didn't take any APs my freshman year. You could take like 1 AP your freshman year. I wouldn't like go crazy with it. You have a lot of time to do APs. Sophomore year, I only did 1, but I know my friends who've taken 2. Obviously, it's gonna be more vigorous, but you're getting exposed to an AP experience faster. And then it's really gonna be junior and senior year where I think you'd be, if you really care about like getting credits before college and like just being a more competitive like applicant for colleges, I think 3 to 4 are usually good for junior and senior year.
Yeah, one of the things I will say is a big thing in college is like how do you sort of structure your schedule and work with your advisor, and it becomes a lot more difficult in college because you're obviously working with a larger number of people. In high school it was really nice because you did get to kind of talk through your schedule when making it and kind of weigh pros and cons in terms of what you're doing both inside of school and outside of school to kind of figure out what that right number is for you, because there isn't some sort of magic number like mentioned. There's definitely something to be said for where do you want to go to school? Are you doing it because you think you want to, put that towards college and graduate? Where I went to school, none of your college credits from AP rolled forward. It was purely just to show that you were challenging yourself. I didn't get any credits taken off of what I needed to do because I took APs in college. However, it did show that I was sort of a motivated student. So there's just different avenues depending on what you're looking to achieve with AP courses.
You have like Miss Morissette, like I went to her this year and I'm like, Miss Morissette, should I change to AP Calc BC instead of AB? I'm like, is it gonna look better for colleges? I was super stressed. I was like, I wanna be like a more competitive applicant. And she really just is like, told me, are you also interested in it? And I wasn't. And thank God I didn't do it because it would have been too much. So it also, you're not just questioning what's gonna look good for college, but also what do you wanna gain from taking that class? I think that's a big part about Dawson that you lack at public school. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak to that a little bit. I thought it was super easy. I was also juggling the fact that my junior and senior year of high school, I missed a fair amount of school for my sport, and the teachers were awesome about letting me come in when I was here to make things up and really be, as long as I was communicative, that was matched. And I really appreciated that because it really is about the effort you put forward and the effort you put into building that relationship, because I think there's definitely something to be said for the fact that if you don't show that effort, then that's sort of on you. But if you do put effort into it, all of the resources you could ever possibly need are there for you.
As a freshman, I'm very new to the office hours thing, but it's very easy because it's 8 to 8:30 every day. So if you need help, you can just go to your teacher's office or classroom and find them and ask whatever you need. And it's very great because the teachers want you to succeed. So if you have like a question outside of class, like it's over the weekend, you're like, this homework's hard, what am I gonna do? You can email them and they'll like respond to you as soon as they can. So that's like, even if you can't get to office hours because of some reason, it's very easy to get help.
Yeah, another thing is your advisor is very powerful. So I have my advisor, I think we have like just 8 or 10 of us in there. And I can come in and talk to her whenever I want, and pretty much whenever I want. And then like she can talk to other teachers for me and get things that I need on a scale in the faculty and really just get that connection.
Yeah, and for office hours, going back to that, I'm usually, actually I think I'm always here for office hours every day, and if I don't have a meeting, I'll just stop in a teacher's room either to just say hi or to get some work done. And even if I am just saying hi, it usually turns out that I have a question that I remember in the moment. So even just being able to have that space is really important.
I'll also just add to that point, I found office hours to be really powerful in college, but that came from advocating, because most of the time the office hours that the teacher would put forward was a conflict for whatever reason, which I think is a pretty common issue that a lot of people deal with. And the skill of knowing how to reach out and say, hey, I understand that I am asking of you something special, and yet I still need help, that advocacy piece, the fact that it's built now makes it so much easier later, because the number of friends that I had that didn't learn to utilize office hours until their junior or senior year of college, when things were getting challenging and you're starting to look at how that fits in with the job that you want, and your courses are getting harder because you're into the 3,000, 4,000 level, like it just is really crazy. If you don't have that skill already, it's really hard to build when you're already stressed and overwhelmed and underwater. And so the fact that we have it now, and that you get into that rhythm and that habit of self-advocating and also just building relationships with the people in a classroom, makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and also I just want to add, my sophomore year, I went into Dawson Spanish 2, and my Spanish 1 at my old school did not prepare me for it at all. When they spent like, I believe 2 months reviewing the past content, and I was learning it. But my teacher was so amazing about developing my understanding and really getting me up to that level where I don't have to like sacrifice like my academics and go back to Spanish 1, but instead just like thoroughly working with her. And it made such a difference, because without like that one-on-one time that I got from my teacher, I wouldn't have been as successful and wouldn't have been able to move to Spanish 3 this year.
I can talk to that a little bit. I think one of the things that makes a big difference is just talking about it. I think there's definitely something to be said. We've all mentioned kind of finding things that you're interested in. Obviously that was super helpful. I was a business major as well as a constitutional studies and peace studies minor, which was an interesting combination, and I was a little unique in that sense, but it came from the fact that when I was in high school, I really enjoyed my history courses and my AP Gov and my AP US History and all of those classes, and so I knew that I kind of wanted to apply into business school, but then I also knew just from having the opportunity to take different classes that the time I did have left that wasn't fulfilled by my major was easy to fulfill by my minors, and that was super cool. At least for me, I don't know the current program, but we also did some like, not necessarily aptitude, but sort of figuring out what some of the different paths look like, and that helps you also narrow down schools. I knew specifically I was only looking at programs that had sort of what I wanted to study in business, but that came from college counseling and just having the conversation, like I said, really early.
Yeah, I would also just like to say that I've gone up to a few teachers after class and I've been like, hey, I'm really interested in maybe going into this field. Is there anything you could tell me about that? And a couple teachers have said, you know, there's this professor at this college. I can get you in touch with them if you'd like to learn more about a specific program. And so that's been really helpful for me, narrowing down where I want to go and what I want to study.
I'll also just add too, my senior project was super cool in that I got to see a field that I was thinking about. Turned out I learned a lot and was like, I actually don't think I want to do that. But it was still a super helpful couple weeks at the end of my senior year of high school to be like, hey, this is something I'm thinking about, and then have this sort of certainty to say, got a couple weeks, learned a lot, and now I know that I'm gonna go in a different direction.
Maggie, could you explain what senior projects are, just so in case there are people here who don't know?
Yeah, so for us, it was 2 weeks, 2 weeks at the end of your senior year where you are sort of in what I'll call a micro internship, and you work with a business or a program or sort of doing something that then at the end of that you report out on and sort of figure out what your kind of learnings from that was, and there's a presentation during your grad week that's super fun, and it's just a good opportunity, like I said, to start learning how to network, because I think I spent most of my 4 years trying to figure that out, and also then just seeing a career field in something that you're interested in. Yeah, so at least for me, like I said, I knew I wanted to do something in the business route. I can't speak to whether or not there's a network now. When I did my senior project a little while ago, it was sort of like, hey, help sort of figure out what you want to do, and then it was a little bit on you to kind of say, hey, they gave you like a format to be like in your email, what the project, you know, what is a senior project, what are you doing? I know it depended on a little bit what you wanted to do. I don't know if you want to speak more to that.
Sure, I'll fill in a little bit here.
Yeah.
Senior projects is the last thing that our kids do here at Dawson before they graduate, and there is not a set group of companies that work with us. Part of the experience is students investigating what they want to do, what they're interested in, and learning how to reach out and basically apply for a job on their own. All of them have a faculty sponsor, somebody they work with who helps them with that and says, oh, maybe add punctuation to that email, please. You know, something like that that helps them through the process. But really it is start to finish a student-generated project that can be either in a field of study that they're interested in for their careers or in college, or a community service piece that they do. Shanti's about to start that process very soon. She'll be hearing pretty soon from the senior class advisor. But that just, since it's been a while since you've done it, that's how it's set up.
Yeah, I was just saying it's been 4 years. But yeah.
It is 7 o'clock. So if there's another question, then we can take that as a last one. And if not, we will, yeah, go ahead.
In high school, advisors, are they selected based on your interest areas or random, you know, what?
Yeah, so actually, when I got accepted to Dawson and I was talking with Miss Deerdorf, who organizes our whole schedule, she was like, what are you interested in? What kind of subjects? And I was like, I'm really interested in English. And I wound up with an English teacher. Yeah.
Yeah, so freshman year they kind of give you one, or at least that was how it worked for me coming in not from Dawson the freshman year. But then after that you can apply to get an advisor that you want. So for me, I'm really passionate about sciences. So I applied to have my freshman bio teacher, Dr. Denton, and that's who's my advisor now.
And you're also allowed to switch advisories if you feel like it's just not a right fit, whether that's with the other kids there or it's with your teacher and just the way they conduct their class. You always get the opportunity to request to go to another advisory.
All right, I'm going to wrap it up there so you guys can all go home if you want to, but we will stick around if you have questions. One last thing that I did want to say is that if your student would like to shadow another student in the upper school, we would really encourage you to reach out to the admissions office and set that up. We love having kids come up and visit us. In the upper school, you can pick what type of class you want to see. You know, if you're particularly interested in biology, for instance, you could say, hey, I'd really like to shadow in a bio class. Definitely give us a call and let us know. We'd love to see you. Please reach out to me or any of us with questions if they pop up in the next few months, weeks, minutes. We're here to answer those, and we'd love to chat with you. I really want to thank you for coming out tonight. I know it's, you know, daylight savings and everything. It feels like it's like midnight right now. So I appreciate the fortitude it takes to come out and sit with us and chat with us. I want to say thank you to the students for sharing their wisdom with you. And thanks to all of you. I hope you have a great night, and we look forward to seeing you soon.